Hello, 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 and welcome to today's episode of Her Version. This podcast is dedicated to sharing stories of struggle to triumph, a platform that allows individuals to tell their truth in order to inspire and uplift others. For those of you that are new to this podcast and like content like this, make sure you follow, like, and share. I am your host, Sabrina Victoria. Let's jump right in. What would you say are, let's just say, the first three steps that you recommend for women to take in, early motherhood?
Yeah. So the kind of what Anitra was saying earlier, one of our main sort of goals is get prenatal care early. Early and consistent prenatal care is everything, right? So we would say if you're in that early motherhood pregnancy stage and you haven't gone to the doctor yet, you're not sure what to do, get to the doctor, get everything checked out, get there and get your prenatal care. And if you're not sure how to do that or how to access that, or you have issues with a payer source, call us. Let us help you with that. So I would say that's definitely the first step, is the early and prenatal care. And then, my perspective on this, and again, I work in mental health, is it's not just postpartum, right? Like, a lot of women think about their own mental health and they may be struggling and they're like, well, I know it's not postpartum because I'm only 16 weeks pregnant. Well, that's not true. Actually, postpartum is an umbrella term that really covers mental health disorders that can start at conception and last through the baby's first year of life. So remember, address your mental health early. The social and emotional wellness piece of your pregnancy and your health is crucial to the health and well-being of your family and your children and your relationships. So that would be my second step, is like, if you're not feeling like yourself, if you're having intrusive thoughts, if you're feeling down or depressed, reach out, even if it's not to a traditional counseling agency. Can you reach out to someone in your friend group, in your family group, at a faith-based organization, anything like that? And if you have limited support, call us, because we do have support groups where we can connect you with other women. And I think that I kind of said it earlier, but the third step would be stay connected to people, right? Like, we're kind of living in a world where it's easy to get isolated right now. So as much as you can, one of the hardest things I think in motherhood is it's easy to get isolated. It's easy to stay focused on just your baby, or just, how you're doing or what's going on in your world. But it's important for you to have a life outside of that as well, to really keep yourself healthy. And I have to mention here too, in terms of like our programming, we have a Circle of Moms program. That's what it's called, where we run these groups in English and in Spanish, and women can drop in. They can try it out. If they want to come and they don't like it and they don't want to return, that's okay. We hardly ever find that, though. Usually what happens is women come and they hear other women going through, the similar things, whether it's partner issues, or they're scared of delivery, or they don't know what's going on, or they want to anticipate what's going to happen after birth. We have women in these groups who are both pregnant and parenting, that can really be there for them. And we also offer, for those moms who, I get really passionate and talk a lot, so feel free to pause me at any point.
That's fine, we're listening.
So the other thing to keep in mind too, when we're talking about perinatal women, is we know that some moms do experience a loss, right? The loss in pregnancy, the loss after a baby is born. And we also offer groups for that. They're called Share Pregnancy and Infant Loss groups. And 1 in 4 women will experience a loss. And this is a group that typically will blame, they will isolate, they will feel guilty, they will feel jealous of their, friends who are childbearing and things like that. Call us, let us help you, and get into one of these groups where you can connect with other people who've been through those experiences. Because we want you to stay well. And we believe that with help, anyone can be well. So, I'm going on.
Are these done virtually, those baby loss? Are those done virtually or in person?
Yeah, right now they're virtual, and that's mostly out of still some COVID precaution. But we used to offer them in person, and do plan to do so probably this year. But right now, our support groups are virtual.
Okay.
Mhm.
Um, and then is this, so I don't know how this is run. I'm myself in I'm sober, 15 years. I'm big in the sobriety community. I do coaching around sobriety and time management. And then I also am a recovering codependent. So I also do go to codependency meetings. So how does this work as far as these meetings go? Is it similar? Is it way different? Is there a speaker? What can they expect?
Sure. So in these groups, the first thing they can expect is they would go on our website and find a date and a time that works for them. That would be sort of like the first thing that they could do. Once they register, they'll be invited to the group. And at the group, what will happen for the pregnancy and infant loss groups is we will sort of start with just kind of sharing what, why did you come, and sort of like what's happened to you and how you're doing. Some women like to talk about what they've already tried, because of course, when we're trying to get well, we may have tried several different things. And Sabrina, you probably see that in the groups that you're talking about. And we talk about, what worked for them in that and maybe what didn't work. And then we also do provide some psychoeducation too, just regarding the grief process and bereavement, and letting women know that it's not a linear process, that grief can hit us differently at different points in our lives, right? So that's kind of the flavor of it. We usually do end the groups by talking about just like coping skills and connecting, right? So if some women want to stay in touch, now they've met someone else who's gone through this experience and they can reach out to that person outside of the group, of course we encourage that as well.
Very cool. And then even though this is virtual, it's still Palm Beach County. So you have to be in the Palm Beach County in order to attend.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Now, sometimes it does happen where women will contact us and say, I live in Tampa or North Florida. We had someone contact us, I think from Oregon recently too. And they'll, so they need support, and we're going to help them as well. There's other organizations that we can connect them to that offer this stuff virtually that don't have that, that limit, as we do in terms of sort of serving just Palm Beach County. And then
Okay.
I also want to mention as well that in terms of addressing the mental health and the pregnancy loss and all of that, is that we can also provide trainings around these topics to anybody, to professionals or to groups, to the general public, because we believe that people need to know how to interact with women who are struggling and in the perinatal period. Sometimes it's uncomfortable. We see a woman who might be going through postpartum depression. We don't know what to say, so we sort of leave her alone, right? Or we know that our friend, lost her baby and we don't know what to do, so we just kind of like don't do anything, right? So we provide these trainings for organizations and people to help them find that way, to help them find what to say or how to support. And we also include in there a lot of language that we know doesn't help women that are going through those experiences as well.
Awesome. I,
Mhm.
uh, I so appreciate the loss, because that is so, doing this podcast, I've interviewed so many women who have lost children. And it's frustrating because until I started doing this podcast, didn't realize, whether it's miscarriage or whether it's stillborn, it's kind of like an unspoken thing because it's just disappears. And
Yes.
like there's no there's no nothing to show or to, so it was very eye-opening to me, hearing these women's stories. So knowing that that is also an option, I wouldn't have even thought about that with you guys. uh,
Yeah. And I
and
think,
the
Sabrina, what you,
detriment that you're talking about as far as mental and emotional is so real.
yeah.
My mom had stated before she had my brother is 10 years younger than me, 7 years younger than my brother, who's kind of an oops baby. But in between that, my mom had 4 miscarriages. And
Mm.
I remember her, we were young, so I remember it as a conversation at some point, and she was sad. but didn't really grasp it until like I was way older and we kind of talked about it. But it's like a real thing that really can make someone feel not good. Let's just
It's
put
a
it that way.
trauma. It's a
Not good.
trauma. I mean, you're losing a part of your body. You're losing your baby. That's a trauma. I mean, that's
Yeah.
a an experience we wish on no one.
Yeah.
And I think that what happens a lot is that these women get the message, you know, they get these very negating, minimizing messages like, well, at least you know you can get pregnant, or you're still young, you can have another one, while not addressing the real issue, which is grief and loss and bereavement and
Yeah.
trauma. And so, you know, we spend time talking about the unspeakable, because if we don't address that stuff, that, you know, that's just putting them at further risk of emotional, you know, not wellness, if you will. But yeah, we absolutely offer it. We actually, it's a relatively new service for us. We just added it in 2020.
Smart.
Yeah, and so and it's part of because we see the need. You know,
Yeah.
we are interacting with perinatal women all of the time, and they're telling us their stories, and we're like, we need to, you know, offer something for them too, where they feel supported, and connected to us as well. Whether, you know, they get pregnant again or not, you know, we want to make sure that the needs are being met.
Yeah. And the scariness that goes with it as far as getting pregnant again.
Yes, yes,
And, yeah, I mean, that's a real thing that I've never had to feel or understand, and totally makes sense. So then for the 9 months, 9 full months, they had the constant anxiety flowing through their body morning
right.
and night that any moment it could disappear. That would be horrifying,
Yeah.
if you're not treating yourself, mentally and emotionally, or talking it out with somebody.
Yeah, and we see that a lot with women who've had a loss and then they get pregnant again, is they spend so much of the pregnancy anxious and worried and fearful. And you know, we want to help them because of course we want them to be well in the pregnancy, and we also have to honor that that's where they're at. You know, that's a real legitimate thing that's happened to them. And so how do we address that? You know, is the support group the right setting? And sometimes the support group is the right fit. It's just the level of, you know, of support that women need. And sometimes women need more intensive, you know, so we can connect them to an individual counselor who specializes in that. And so I think that's, again, one of the great things about us being in a system of care and being such a resource in Palm Beach County, and knowing where those people exist to refer them to,
Mm.
for women kind of experiencing all of these perinatal issues, whether it's loss or whether it's just general mental health in the perinatal period.
Yeah. When
Yeah.
I was, I don't remember who I was speaking to one of you, so I apologize for not knowing which one. And I was talking about how when you were speaking, it all of a sudden, because when I first met you guys and started talking to you guys about possibly being on the podcast, my thought process was I never visited a place like this. I've never even heard of a place like this until I was much older. Obviously before this moment meeting you guys, I've heard of it, but just during those years, wasn't even a thing that I knew existed. Like I knew food stamps existed, I knew WIC existed, um, but to go to a place to just like talk or communicate or to sit and to speak, I didn't know. So, but what was interesting is while speaking, going back and forth, it jogged my memory to a place that I did visit one time. I still remember it vividly. And I received a um, breast pump, a really nice one. And I received the like baby Bible, that really big, what to do when you're expecting or something.
Yeah, like what to
Those
expect when you're, that's right.
Yeah, I got those 2
Yeah.
things, and I don't know where the place was, what it was. I don't know if they invited me back and I was too scared. I don't know if I lost the business card. I don't know what happened, but I have a feeling it was actually a place very similar to, the community that you are both speaking about. But you obviously have way more experience than I do. I have my one instance. Um, in your experience, why do you think, or what do you see as far as why mothers hesitate to visit a community, to like what is like the fear that's kind of based around it?
Well, some moms feel like I don't qualify for these services, so I'm not going to go because it is for low income or women that don't have any supports. And I actually have support, so we try to let everyone know that it's for everyone. Our services are for everyone. So just to get to what Jan was talking about, we try to fill in those gaps. So we created educational workshops called Small Steps Great Parents, where we offer classes. So you might not need an extensive services. You just might need to know how to work your breast pump or how to feed your baby or how to store your food. So we have classes for that, breastfeeding an infant. We offer childbirth classes. We offer nutrition classes. We offer prenatal yoga. So at Healthy
Wow.
Mothers, Healthy Babies, we try to think of those things that might the community might need. So we try to fill in those gaps. Also, what might stop a mom from coming is the name itself, Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies. So walking into a building that says Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies, and you might not have told your family or your community that I'm expecting, or you might be in between, especially our teenagers, and then a family member or somebody see you come into that building and then start telling your business and creating that conflict within the community. You might just say, okay, I don't want to come. I don't want to hear about that. Grateful that the virtual space has been very great for us in getting those women to connect with us, because you're able to do it in the privacy of your home. And also, we want everyone to know that you should not have fear around getting help from us, because all of our services are confidential. So when you come in and you talk to one of our staff, you are talking to the person who is going to help you and keep your information confidential. So we've
Yeah.
had situations where mom have called and said, my daughter has come and saw you and she's underage. Well, we can't share anything with you, even though your daughter's underage, because she is a client of our services. So we want to
Wow.
make sure that everyone understands to don't have fear around getting help. We are here for you. And we, even if you're not in Palm Beach County, reach out to those services that are similar to Palm Beach County that might be able to assist you.
Wow. It's so crazy that you just said that, because of that again, that reminded me. When I went to Planned Parenthood, when I first found out I was pregnant, I was frantic. I looked it up in the yellow pages, like I said, and the only thing I could think of is abortion. I couldn't, like, I don't even know what the verbiage is for being pregnant and scared out of my mind. I don't know what that verbiage is. So looked up abortion, and I purposely did not go to the one near my house. I purposely went to one like one town over, because of exactly what you said. I totally forgot about that. And yeah, nervous, just so you don't know, like it's just so unknown. I don't even know what I'm doing. Don't want anybody else to know before I know. And also also still convinced that I wasn't pregnant.
Mm.
Like still like, this can't be true. This cannot be happening to me. When I found out I was pregnant, I was at work and I had fallen asleep on the job. I worked for an optical. I had literally fallen asleep 3 days in a row while filing, just like passed out while like on, like laying on the drawer filing. So on my break, I went to Walmart. I stole a pregnancy test, not recommending, put it in my purse.
Please don't.
This is for real. I went into the stall. I got like the 3-pack. Again, not recommending. I'm not condoning this at all. Got a 3-pack, went into the stall, and I did 3 pregnancy tests in a row. I peed, held my pee, put it down, peed, held my pee, put it down, peed, held my pee. I did all 3. They were laying on the toilet paper rack. And the plus signs popped so quickly, like so fast. I thought I got broken ones. I'm like, these have to be broken. Because if you read the instructions, it says may take a couple minutes. and it literally popped within seconds. So I'm like, these are broke. There's no, because I'm trying to convince myself. I come from a really religious background. My parents, I thought they were going to freak, and they actually did freak. Uh, and I didn't. I was like, this can't be happening. Like, this is not real. These are broken.
Well,
Told
I'm glad
my
you shared that. I'm glad you shared that. And I'm
Well,
glad you recommended that women don't do that, because we are here at Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies to help you. So outreach educators are out there in the community. And so part of what we do in outreach is we connect with different community agencies within Palm Beach County. So if you suspect that you're pregnant, you can even call us, call one of our educators, and we will find a way to assist you in getting your test done so that we can make sure that you are going somewhere, getting a test done, and then you decide what you want to do with your pregnancy. And we're here to help you at Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies have a healthy baby.
Yeah.
So we can even connect you with different agencies within Palm Beach County that can help you determine if you're pregnant or not.
Yeah. So can a person, a female or a male, just walk in? Like, they just find their address, they just walk in, or how do
Yeah.
we
So,
introduce ourselves to your
pre-COVID, yes, you could sort of do that. Of course, now, if someone comes to our agency, we're going to help them. We're going to assist them. And we would recommend calling because we do have so many different programs. We can kind of over the phone, we obviously have people, specialists that can do this, kind of talk with women and really figure out what's the right sort of like path for them. Is it a one-on-one appointment with one of our prenatal care coordinators? Have they already, been assessed? Sometimes there's like confusion, around like, oh, did I already speak with you? Didn't I? So I would recommend just calling us and saying, I'm pregnant and, I want to talk to somebody, and we'll figure out the right person to talk to. And if there, sometimes we get through our website women who will like sort of email, you can email us through the website. And that's usually the folks that Anitra is like kind of talking about, where like they might have a specific question, but they kind of want to seem anonymous, right? And so, again, I just want to reiterate that our services are confidential. So, if you call us, we're not going to like, call all of your family and disclose anything. We're going to work with you and you alone. So yeah, they can pop in. The other thing that we should mention too is that we do operate an infant pantry. So for women who are having difficulty with diapers, because diapers are wicked expensive, or baby formula or baby food, things like that, we do have a pantry that women can drop into. It's an emergency pantry, so they can only come once every 30 days. But that does operate, like I said, at Green Acres and Belle Glade and our mobile pantry. And that's, if women are coming to that to collect any kind of baby items, if they say anything to one of our workers that they need some extra assistance, we'll also get them connected to someone at our agency who can provide a further conversation, if you will.
Beautiful. And for those of you that are watching live, I just want to say we appreciate you being here. We appreciate the support. And if this is resonating with you, if you know somebody, if you are somebody, the website that Jan is talking about is above Anitra and Jan's head to be able to go to. And then also, I think on this slide, isn't there something on this slide? Oh, you guys are on Facebook.
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
So Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. There's more information.